We got Lemon Cash, our iHeartRadio future stars, joining us on Pure Country. Got to talk about the name. I've read it, of course, in your bio, but I always find it interesting. Even, bands like Old Dominion and Lady A, and you find out what made you guys decide to go with the name Lemon Cash.
I'm going to try and take a different approach to this because we try to make it so short and sweet. And like, it's gotten to a point now where like, we got to find it where it just flows effective. Like, like it just transitions and flows off the tongue nicely. So I'm going to kind of reverse it. So we were in the midst of looking for a band name when Corey and I started the band. This was like the rock band started like era. So we were in the living room talking to our mother. We were just reminiscing over childhood stories. And the lemonade stand came up when Corey and I used to run it when we were younger. And she was just saying how it was cute because, there would be some neighbors that would stop by and, they felt bad because we were getting no sales, that they would drop a couple, pennies or quarters into the cup. And our stress was like, what if we don't have enough lemonade to make? What do we do? And my mom would say, well, all the cash you make, you could buy more lemons with it so you can make more lemonade. So the cup, whenever someone would drop the cup in, we'd go and shake it to our mom and shake the cup to our mom, not shake it to our mom, and say, this was our lemon cash, like there, lemon cash. So, so when she brought that story up, and for some reason, lemon cash, and I have this weird thing of like, whenever I see or a cool word or a cool, like, something stands out to me, I'm always like, that'd be a cool name for a band. That would be a cool name for a band. So sure enough, Lemon Cash kind of stood out. And I was like, Lemon Cash, that'd be a cool name for a band. And then here we are.
I love it. I think it is so cool. And it's awesome that you guys actually have a personal attachment to it. It wasn't just like a sign you saw somewhere where you're like, that's kind of cool. And I think that as brothers, will make it even more special to you guys when you have things happen and you hear your name being called out in places. It's going to really have a lot of nostalgia attached to it, which I think is really cool.
I absolutely,
yeah.
And hopefully you'll have a lot more lemon cash to spend.
Oh.
Have you done a lemonade stand since, or have you guys thought of doing any sort of like lemonade stand show in the street to kind of like pay homage to the super cool story behind the name?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of mostly we had the thought of getting like some sort of like lemon type drink.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, if energy drink or an alcoholic drink, something like that you can sell in the can, like lemon cash.
I do love a good alcoholic lemonade.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, every country artist either like starts a clothing line, opens a bar in downtown Nashville, or creates their own alcoholic beverage. So you guys are pretty much set for, you're set up properly for having your own alcoholic beverage.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, it'd be sweet.
Okay, well, I'll taste test whenever you guys want to make drinks with lemonade. I am prepared. Just
we'll have one ready for you.
Make sure I get a sitter the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because our lemonade, you can't just drink one. So
no,
you have to have
for sure. Definitely not. So you guys, are you both in Ottawa still, or where are you living?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. This is suburbs. So Corey is like from Barhaven. Actually, we are from Barhaven. I don't know if you've sure you've probably heard it. It just keeps growing and growing and growing these days. It's becoming its own like city now, I feel. So that's where we're originally from. But now I moved to Bell's Corners, which is just kind of like the neighbor to Barhaven. So we're all in Ottawa, but suburban, different suburban areas.
So when you guys were growing up in Ottawa, because like I grew up in Ontario as well, and I remember, certain artists that I grew up listening to as far as Canadian country goes, who were kind of those artists that, really introduced you to your love for country music.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's kind of close to Ontario, speaking of, but he's from Elmer, just across the river. Is Charlie Major was a big huge like we listened to him religiously, I think, when we were younger. So he was definitely like, just speaking of being from Ontario, so I'm trying to think of a closer artist, to that area. So definitely Charlie Major. Oh man, so many to name. Paul Brandt. I mean, we just got back from Alberta, and it's every time it's crazy to think like Alberta Bound, you know, that's when we were going to Alberta, I always have that song in my head and it kind of brings me back a little bit. So Paul Brent for me and Charlie Major were huge inspirations, you know, growing up. So that was what we listened to a lot. There's just so many. Like I actually was listening to Diamond Rio the other day. Like that was a big like a group that we listened to, especially a harmony driven, you know, trio. I think Diamond Rio, or there's two of them. I can't remember, but yeah, that was like I was listening back to them and I was like, oh my God, they have so many good songs.
So many hits for sure.
Yeah.
When did you guys, Corey, like when did you guys decide to start doing the music thing or like start actually performing together? Has this been something you guys have done forever or a little later in life did it start?
Pretty much, yeah, forever.
Yeah.
We were, you know, early teens. That's when we started playing our instruments, and it just always seemed like we'd have our friends over, and they'd end up in our jam room. Jeff and I would be performing for them, and they, you know, just having drinks, and like as we got older, having drinks and stuff like that. And then I guess it was around just a little bit after I graduated high school where we decided to let's kind of try and do this and write some original music. So we started a band with some friends of ours, and we actually started off as a rock band. Like that was our first thing. Yeah, so we did that for a little while, and then go for it, Jeff.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Corey. Funny story how it all started. A buddy of mine that I knew mutually, he went to a different high school than I went to, and I guess he was at a local bar here in Barrhaven, and Corey had gotten pulled up by his buddy who was just playing live there, and I guess my buddy got there and overheard Corey singing a song. I can't remember what it was. Was it Someone That I Used to Know by Goat?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I guess it kind of turned his head and he went, who is that? And people were saying, you know, it's Corey Papineau, it's Jeff Papineau's brother, and blah, blah, blah. He went, holy Jesus, that guy can sing. He's like, yeah, and Jeff actually plays drums too. So, and I think that's when Jeff, the other Jeff, like that saw Corey play, he reached out to me and was like, hey, I heard you play drums. Do you know, he kind of played along, like, do you know any singers? And I was like, yeah, my brother. Little did I know that he knew this all along. And that's how it all kind of started. And then our love for music, playing music, writing music grew from there. And look where we are now.
So cool. And I feel like this year has been kind of like a turning around the corner for you guys, like where, you know, you guys have deal, you've got your song like blaring on country radio all the time. I swear every time I like go to do my show, I'm like, there they are, it's Lemon Cash. Is that crazy for you guys? Like, have you had a chance where you know, you hear about your song being played on the radio, but do you ever like jump in the car and you're just driving and then you realize, holy crap, that's me?
It has happened a couple times.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad you both have had that happen.
I turned it on in the kitchen because I was like, I heard people were just kind of like texting us saying, I just heard your song on the radio. I just heard it on the radio. And I said, okay, I gotta experience it for myself too. I can't, like, I haven't even heard it yet. So I threw on the little radio in our kitchen and I was just feeding Jack. And then sure enough, iHeart, Future Stars, Lemon Cash. And I was like, oh my God. And the song sounded really cool on the radio too. Like it had a weird little like effect to it, or I don't know. It sounded like different from what
there's a little more reverb or something on there. Right?
Yeah. I don't know what they're, but it sounded awesome. And I was like, holy shit, there it is.
It's just that extra pure country, you know, touch.
Yeah. Well, whatever they're doing, it sounded good.
It's just, we're just turning it up really, really, really loud is what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's awesome though. I'm so happy for you guys. And, you know, I feel like it's cool because I grew up in Ontario and have a lot of family from the Ottawa area and Kingston and Napanee and Cornwall and all that. So I'm like, it's cool to see, you know, I can't even imagine what your family and friends that you went to high school with are like feeling when they're like, hey, we know them.
I hope it's like, we know them and we also like them. And
we like them too. Yeah.
Them, change the station.
Yeah.
So what is coming next for you guys that you're most looking forward to? Have you guys been working on new music, tour coming up, anything like that you can tell us about?
We're going to be doing a lot of writing, and we're going to be doing the Boot Hill Jamboree next summer, which is look for that. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, but mostly just right now, as so far we're just going to be scheduling a lot of rights and seeing if we can get, that next hit.
Nice. Do you guys make many trips down to Nashville yet? Because I know Dan Swimmer is your producer, but I think your song you guys wrote with Dan and Wes Mack, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
So do you write more in Canada, or have you done any trips in Nashville yet?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't been to Nashville myself yet at all. So Corey's been a couple times, not to write, but he was just there because he's a big chicken sandwich guy. So he goes all the way there to try it out. So, no, Corey, you've been there a couple times on vacation, which I was very jealous of, but it's still in the works. Like, we've obviously written with some Nashville writers for sure, like Paul Barton and God, can't even name anyone else we can think of. Dave Thompson, who are actually we're going to try and write with. But instead of like doing it virtually, I kind of want to make the trip out there and make it worth our time. And actually, we prefer to write in person as well. It's a little more challenge. It's got its challenges over Zoom. Like, it's convenient, but it's obviously got its challenges. But yeah, as for me, I haven't been out there yet, and I'm hoping to get out there and do some writing. So maybe probably the fall or just before the new year, I'm hoping, but we'll see.
Nice. Yeah, you do. I mean, go to Nashville, write songs and chicken sandwiches.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Sandwich
first chicken.
First chicken. You know what? I did read that Keith Urban, he has like a fried pimento cheese sandwich is like his key for songwriting, that before every songwriting session, he gets a fried pimento cheese sandwich. So maybe your thing will be like, before every songwriting session, some Hattie B's
sandwich.
Yep.
This is Keith Urban that likes this?
Yeah. Write it down. Maybe you need to try before you're right. Get one of those sandwiches. Yeah. And then you're like, holy crap, I just wrote the best song of my life. Thank you, Keith.
and I just heard that we just found out that Stephen Lee Olsen is your husband. That's freaking awesome. And so is that what he did for Keith Urban to cut one of his amazing songs?
Yeah, it was all in the fried pimento cheese sandwich. You got it. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. I've never had one, but who knows? Maybe they have like something magic in them that we don't know about.
Maybe, but definitely sounds good.
So who is the artist that if you guys bucket list, you get to tour with, who is at the top of that list?
Oh, Stephen Lee Olsen.
I might be able to get a hold of him.
Well, he was on a tour that I was jealous of because we saw him in Ottawa and opening for Old Dominion. So Old Dominion is right now for me is my favorite band to listen to. I love their stuff. I would love the tour. I'll be on their tour and like a Kenny Chesney, just kind of like a tropically Brothers of the Sun type of vibe. Maybe throw in some Brian Kelly, and that's kind of my cup of tea right there. All
right, what about you, Corey?
Yeah, I'd say my favorite country artist of all time is Kenny Chesney, so he's definitely up there as well. But I would I'd also love the Ernest and Morgan Wallen. Those guys, I'd love to tour with those guys as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a terrible tour to be a part of. That would be yeah, it'd be all right. Corey, Jeff, Lemon Cash, everyone go check them out. You can hear them on Pure Country as our iHeartRadio Future Stars. And can't wait to meet you guys in person and hear some more new music, and check out their website too to see where you can watch them play live.